All right.
We have not been to Florida yet. We got a lot of demands for going down there, though. Trust me. Yeah. Well, I live in Texas. It's pretty much the same as Florida weather-wise. So. Yeah, it was a $5 bet, so $1 machine. It was triple star and then triple. Just came out of nowhere.
All right, we should be good.
Okay.
Let's see here. Make sure everybody online can hear us. Hopefully we can. There we go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. We're glad to be back.
Yeah.
Hopefully the audio's keeping up there. Yeah, they had some issues with the mics, so we're just going to be talking to you guys like this today.
But we'll try to be loud.
We'll try our best. So anyway, for those of you that might be new here, my name's Brantley. I started the Cowboy Slot channel on YouTube. This is Mark. He joined in not too far after.
3 or 4 months.
Yeah, 3 or 4 months into it.
Yeah.
And basically what we do and the whole idea of our channel is to try to debunk all of those myths and rumors that people always hear about the casino. Now, why do we do this? Well, we do this because a better educated gambler is going to be a smarter gambler. And in the end, you're going to have more fun and you're going to make more money. So we're here to answer questions about how slot machines work, how casino operations work, and debunk all of those common myths that you guys hear. As for my background, I worked in the casino industry, worked for about 3 or 4 different properties. I also owned my own slot machine shop where I bought and sold different slot machines and work on my house as well. So that's a little bit about me and about my background and kind of what our channel is all about. And Mark, how about for you?
Well, I actually had a similar channel, although I am mostly a slot machine enthusiast. I have a lot of machines at home. I buy, sell, and restore them also. And I have an IT background, so I'm into the whole programming aspect of things. And so I learned how slot machines actually worked to help debunk all those myths. Because like we said, you know, when you get all these crazy ideas in your head, you've probably heard them all. I could probably go down the row and ask you, what's the craziest thing you ever heard about a slot machine? Every one of you are going to have a different story. And it's pretty much like that anywhere you go these days. So I came along, my channel was more about, you know, restoring the machines themselves. But I had, one of the things that was kind of funny is that there's a lot of bad information out there. And we always felt that if you listen to the bad information and then you make decisions with your bankroll based on that bad information, that it could lead you down a very dangerous path. And so we came together because we had the same goals, and that is to try to get as much of the truth out there about how slot machines work, how casino operations work, so that you guys really have the best tools available before you start pulling money out of your pocket. Because it's key. I mean, if you think about anything in your life, would you want to go and try to repair your garage door if you don't know anything about it? You probably want to learn everything about it first so that you don't snap the spring and take your arm off, right? So,
right.
It's the same thing here, except I think it's a little bit more serious because you're putting your finances on the line. And that's definitely not an opportunity that you want to miss, learning how these things actually work and not falling into that trap. So that's why we came together and we started working towards that common goal of getting the best information out there. You know, we don't charge for anything. We're not going to charge for anything because we feel like in the end, it's just going to make you guys better gamblers and smarter gamblers. And that's super important to us. So every time we hear a good story from somebody saying, you know, I used to go in the casino and lose all my money within the first hour I'm there, and then I come back the next day and I do it again. You know, we kept hearing that over and over again. It's like, slow down, you know, listen to what we have to say. We're going to teach you a lot about money management and budgeting and looking for the right machines and not going crazy. And we'll talk about a lot of that stuff here today, but start thinking about questions that you want to ask us. We're here to answer anything that you guys have on your mind about how slot machines work, how to pick the best machines, all that kind of stuff. So we'll definitely have a little section to start talking about that.
And we do have a working mic now, which is
good. We do. Okay,
yes,
great.
We do have
I can shout pretty loud. I don't know about Bradley, but I can get pretty loud.
No, we got a working mic now, so,
okay, great.
So that'll be good. But no, like Mark said, you know, it all comes down to your bankroll management, obviously, and picking the right machines. Because a lot of people don't know, you know, people walk into the casino and there's thousands of slot machines to choose from. they're all the same. A lot of people think that all of the machines are the same. But the truth is different machines are designed to play out differently. So you've got some machines that are designed to, have slow and steady wins along the way. And then you have those other machines that are, you might get a whole bunch of dead spins and just that one big hit. So there's a bunch of different types of machines out there. And a lot of people don't realize that. And we talk a lot about volatility on our channel. How many of you are not yet subscribed to us on YouTube, or is everybody here subscribed? Okay, perfect. All right. Good to hear. So how many of you were here last time? There we go.
I see some
Okay.
familiar faces,
I see some familiar faces out there. Well, we're really happy to be back here, especially during rodeo time. Has anyone been to the rodeo yet yesterday? I think Mark and myself are going to head over there today.
That's right.
After this, it'll be a lot of fun. But anyway, like Mark said, bankroll management is also very important. Playing the right denomination, playing the right bet amount for what you're bringing. If a lot of you watched this on YouTube before, you know that we always talk about, the 1% rule. So if you bring $100 with you to the casino, you want to try to keep your bet amount right around $1, at least until you've built up some, because that'll give you a good number of spins and, good gameplay when you're on the machine. So different things like that are really going to help you guys out as slot players. And that's one of the biggest things that we talk about here. Oh, yeah, question.
Wait.
Yeah.
So if you get hand pay, do you stay at the machine and keep playing, or you take the money and go?
That's a good question.
Good question. So the question for those of you watching online, the question was, if you get a hand pay, do you stay at the machine and keep playing, or do you take it and go? It really depends on what your situation is at the time. So like if you're having fun, if you're enjoying the game, if you're up already for the day and you feel like playing a little bit more, you can play a little bit more. The machine's not going to act any different. It's going to have an equal chance to, it could hit back to back. You never know. So it really just depends on your situation. Now, if maybe you're down for the day, you got that last minute save, probably want to take it and go at that point.
Let me ask you guys a question. How many of you ever get a feeling or have ever been told that as soon as the machine starts hitting like that you should probably get off of it? Or if you see somebody that's hitting really, pretty regularly on a machine that, oh man, it's paying out way too much. If I come and try to chase that, I'm going to start suffering because it's got to rebalance itself. Yep. How many times have you heard that?
Yeah.
Completely false.
A lot of hands.
Completely false.
A lot of hands.
Every single spin is a complete and separate event. Whenever you press that spin button, the machine has no idea what has occurred previous to that. Whether it's a hand pay or not a hand pay or a big loss session or a big win session, every single time that you spin that machine, it is a separate event, okay? It's really hard I don't know what it is about machines, but they really pull you in. And we even fall for this sometimes. I hit the hand pay on the triple stars and I'm like, yeah, this thing's done. I'm not going to get anything else. But then I remember, no, that's not how they work. That's not how they work. And I kept playing. I got some good hits along the way, even after that. But don't be afraid if you're playing a machine and it suddenly hits a good hand pay or something that you should just get off of it, because that's not what's going on. Yeah. Sure.
And what I heard you say, and maybe I didn't on your channel, when there's tons of penny machines, we all know that.
Yeah.
1, 2 cents, 5, 10, whatever. If you change from 1 cent to 2 cents,
Mm-hmm.
you're still on a penny machine, but you have a different set of randoms. Is that correct?
So close. So the question is that if, let's say you're on a multi-denomination machine, okay, it's a 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent machine. If you were to change from 1 cent to 2 cent, what happens? Okay, so typically in a casino, the higher the denomination it is on the machine, the higher the payback percentage is on that machine, okay? So if you can play at a higher denomination, it's best to do that. So let's take this is a very common scenario. Let's say that you have a penny machine with a 500 credit bet. What is that? $5, right? Well, if there's a 2 cent version and there's a 250 credits, that's still $5, right? It's actually better in the long run to switch to the 2 cent and play the 250 credits, okay? There's no guarantee. It's a long-term play, but if you're going to do it, you should try to go up. But there is one big caution here. There are a lot of games that if you do not max bet, you are losing out on potential features of the game, like progressives, free games, extra wilds, whatever. So you really have to look at the game rules to figure out that if you're not betting those 500 credits, are you missing out on something? Because if you are, then that is not what you want to do. You want to be
Exactly.
able to lower your denomination so you can fulfill that max bet, so you can get all the features eligible in the game. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay, I've seen people that when they win a good hand or get a bonus,
Mhm.
they'll stop playing and they'll change the denomination from 1 cent to 2 cent.
Mhm.
And then if they win again, they stop it and change it from 2 cent to 5 or to 10 cent. What do you think of that?
So there's actually, I'll take this one.
Yeah, go
There's
ahead.
two, there's kind of two things behind that. First of all, if they're winning, the denominations don't talk to each other. So that's the first thing. So whatever happens on 1 cent, 2 cents is not going to know about it. 5 cents is not going to know about it. So those are they're separate. But in terms of pushing your limits at the right time, that can be good depending on how your bankroll's doing. So, if you're doing really good on your bankroll, when you're playing with your winnings, that's a good time to, kind of push your luck a little bit more. We wouldn't recommend that if you're just kind of skirting the line, or maybe if you're down for the day or something like that. But in terms of pushing your luck at the right time, it can be good. But in a technical sense, the denominations don't talk to each other. So if you're doing really good on 1 cent denomination and you change it to 2 cent, that's not going to carry over, so to speak, if that makes sense. Yeah.
So I've watched a lot of what you guys have done. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
We never hit Choose the Gambler on
We'll convert you by the end of the
Final
show.
question. So I see some of these machines where you have a pick. You can pick from
Mhm.
what it is on the screen. Is that already preset?
So good
We've
question.
seen so many times where it says minor, major, 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 and then minor, and that's what you got.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always the mini. Why is it
So-
always the mini?
Yep. So we're both going to tag team that
Yeah.
one on that. So when you pick the coins, for example, is it predetermined? Yes, it is. The system already knows what it's going to give you. And the reason behind that, I'll let Mark kind of
Okay.
explain, because you got the great example for why is it always the mini?
Yeah, it's almost always the mini, right? So if you think about dancing drums, 88 fortunes are good examples of this, where you get the pot closes and you get to pick, from things like that. So if you've ever watched either one of us play those games, as soon as those coins come up, we just go blah until it's already decided.
Yeah.
Like, you can't study it and say, oh, I need to do the corner that, and then corner over here, and then corner. It's already decided what it's going to do. So we just kind of hurry it up, get it over with. So why is it always the mini? Well, who's ever played Wheel of Fortune? Probably
Yep.
most people at least once have played Wheel of Fortune. It's the same thing. Why is it really hard to get the 1,000 and it's always 20 and 40 and 30 and 35? It's because it's heavily weighted to those lower amounts. Okay, so I'm not going to get too geeky with you guys, but what the random number generator is doing is, if you think about, let's say you had a big bowl that had 100 ping pong balls in it. Okay, 90 of those ping pong balls is the mini. Okay, 5 of them is the minor, 3 of them is the major, and 1 of them or 2 of them is the grand, for example. So the random number generator fires off and picks a number from 1 to 100, for example, pulls it out. What is it most likely going to be? The mini, because there's 90 of them out of 100. So that's the way those are weighted. It's still random, but it's already predetermined what it's going to be, and that's why it's usually on the lower amounts, because it's just, they're not going to give you an equal chance of hitting the grand every single time. It would
Yeah.
never work that way. I wish it would, but
Yeah.
it's never going to work that way.
But it definitely can
Yeah,
happen.
it's still,
And
it's still
it does,
possible.
It does
It's still
happen.
possible. It's
It
just-
does happen. Yes.
I don't want to hog the room.
No,
No,
you're
you're
good.
good.
But, okay, so I'm still confused. I asked a question about the volatility.
Mhm.
It still bothers me. I can't seem to figure it out, although I haven't gone out and played any of those. But 90% of those machines out there are penny machines.
Mhm.
You guys said a long time ago, you said stay away from the
Yeah.
penny. It's pretty hard to do now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the way they have it. So, okay, so you find a penny machine, are there different volatility in those
Yes.
penny machines?
Yep.
And so you can figure out how that works as well somehow?
So most of the new penny machines that are coming out, they're going to be higher in volatility, but there are some penny games out there that are lower in volatility. Now, the thing is obviously volatility is a pretty big spectrum. You've got all different types of volatilities and all different things that can affect the volatility. Even we can look at Buffalo, for example. Buffalo, there are so many different variations of Buffalo. Okay, just started with original Buffalo. Now you've got Buffalo Grand, Buffalo Link, Buffalo Gold Revolution, all different kinds of Buffalo. There's a million different titles. But if you look at all of those titles and all on the 1 cent denom, they're all going to have different variations in volatility. So like the original Buffalo is going to be the less volatile option as compared to something with more features. Really, the easiest way to tell with volatility is going to be how much the game has going on with it. So, if you sit down at a game and it's just straightforward, like let's say just original Buffalo, you get the 3 coins, you get free spins. There's no progressives, there's no, added extra, collect the gold heads or anything like that. It's going to be lower in volatility. Usually the more that a game has going on, it's going to be higher in volatility, if that makes sense.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Question?
still hard.
So, leading off of that, when you hit the bonus game, like Thunder Cash or whatever,
Mhm.
is that predetermined too, or can you still hit that random number generator, get that great hit, and say, yeah, I did that, or you know what, I had nothing to do with that?
Good question. So free spins, for those watching online, so free spins like Thunder Cash, is that predetermined? Mark, I'll let you answer that one.
Okay, yeah, no, it's not predetermined. So I would say 95, maybe even close to 99% of bonus games that are free games are not predetermined. But there is a catch to that. And the catch is that, let me just do a real quick explanation of how a slot machine works, okay? So we talked about the random number generator on picking the mini, okay? Every single reel that is on a slot machine, whether it's a 3-reel machine or a 5, like a video, like Thunder Cash has 5 reels, whenever you press the spin button, it's going to pull a random number for each of the reels that are on the machine. Pop, 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 5, okay? Whatever that number is, it looks it up on a table that controls what symbols are going to show up on the screen, okay? So in a normal play on Thunder Cash, you get, 7, 7, something, there's a game style to it on the regular game. But you probably have noticed on Thunder Cash, in the bonus round, you start to get things like stack symbols, where you can get 2 7s on a single reel, or you can get multiple symbols on a single reel, which you don't get in the base game. That's because during the free games, what the random number generator is picking from is different, if that makes sense. So it plays out differently because it is picking from different things. So imagine the big bowl. It just goes to another big bowl that has different stuff inside of it than the original game. But it's still completely random. It doesn't know what it's going to pick until each of those spins get started, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yes.
Thanks to your YouTube, Mustang Fury has been my favorite.
Yeah.
I just walked away with 9 movies on the bonus.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice. Good job.
Not happy, but I'm happy.
Well, hey, a win is a win. That,
Yep.
As I was walking away, somebody was in the bonus round on their game, and they had a choice of picking 3, 5 games, 15 games,
Yep.
whatever.
Mhm.
Can you speak to that?
Yes, absolutely. So when you're in a bonus game and you have an option, it's like, you can pick 5 free spins with more ways to win, or 15 free spins with less ways to win. Essentially what you're doing is you're in the driver's seat of picking your volatility and how volatile you want that bonus to be. And again, the thing about volatility, simply broken down to, is it's more risk, more reward, or less risk, less reward. And that's exactly what you're picking. So in a game like that, so you've got the 5 option, with like way more ways to win, that would be a higher volatile option. So you're going to have less chances, but if it does hit, it's going to be a lot larger. Whereas the 15 free spins, you're going to have more chances, but the hits are going to be less. And that's essentially all that pick is. You're picking what your volatility is going to be with that choice. Yes.
What if you do the one the mystery one?
Oh, the mystery one. That's a good one. So again, all the mystery is it's going to randomly pick, how many ways to win and then how many spins it's going to be. And you don't know what that's going to be. Sometimes you might luck out. You might get the more ways to win with the max amount of spins, which is the ideal option. But the choices on that's a hard one to get.
Yeah,
that's a really hard one to get.
It's tough to pick that mystery.
And this is my advice for if you're playing a slot machine and you have a chance like that, I always base it on what my bankroll is at the time. So it depends. Like if I'm at the casino, if I'm having a really good day, if I've, made money, I'm up, I'm happy, I'm having a good time, I'll pick the higher volatile option. And that's really the time to play any higher volatile game or any high volatile choice, is when you've got extra money set aside, you're having a good day. I'd pick the higher volatile option. Now, on the other end, if I maybe am just starting, or, my bankroll's low, I haven't won anything, I've been losing a lot, I'd pick the lower volatile option just to give me more time to build up slow.
I just have one thing to share on that. I was here last week, and this lady hit a machine where she got 5 of the symbols all the way across, paid her $66, and then let her choose what to do. And she's going, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. And I said, every once in a while, I just pick the mystery. So she picked the mystery, and it only gave her 6 spins, and she got nothing.
Yeah.
So
that does happen.
It was supposed to get more wilds, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a telltale sign too of a higher volatile game. If a game's going to have more risk, more reward, a lot of times those higher volatile games, you can get bonuses where you don't get anything, or you get something really low. That's just the unfortunate part about those games.
So is anybody still confused on what volatility is? Do you understand? So out of all the things that you can do to pick a machine inside of the casino, that is the one thing that you can do. Okay, you can't tell what the game percentage is. You can't tell if a jackpot's been hit or if it's due, or it's the right time of day, so it's got to hit now. All those kinds of things. Just get them out of your head. Okay, what you can do though is look for the volatility of the game and try to steer yourself to the lower ones. Now it's getting hard, like you said. The penny machines are out there, and this is what people like to play. They like the big risk, big reward type of games. They just do. And that's the trend that the casino industry has been going in for the last 10 years or so. But you can still go and find those lower volatility games. They have a great bank out here. We were talking right before with the pinball, the triple stars. Then on the other side, there's some good ones there. The classic 3 reels, those are lower in volatility. And all that means is that you can make your bankroll last a lot longer, and you still have a potential of getting a good win. You're not giving up the potential for a big win. You're just kind of mitigating that risk, okay? Huff and Puff. How many people have played Huff and Puff before?
Okay, it's a fun game.
It's a fun game.
Huff and More Puff is actually a really, really fun game.
It can destroy your bankroll because
yes, it can.
It is very high in volatility. If you get the bonus quickly, you're very lucky. Consider yourself lucky. Enjoy the bonus and then get the hell out of there. Because what's going to happen is it's going to keep draining you again until that next bonus. And that's just the way that game is designed to play, because it's higher in volatility. And so you got to look for things like that. And the good way to do it, honestly, is to go on YouTube and look up, the game that you want to play and watch people play it, and make sure it's the full session. So, not just the bonus round, for example, in Huff and Puff, because we know if you've ever played that game, it can be hard to get to it, So that's the kind of stuff that you should really look for when you're looking for games to play.
So we have a casino field trip.
Oh, you had a question, sir?
Yeah.
The volatility in the high limit room, is it greater or lesser than on the regular floor, is part of the question. The other part is, you tend to lean towards one maker, like Aristocrat versus IGT, more so than the other.
All right, so two-parter question. I'll just repeat it back for those watching online. So does volatility change in the high limit room as compared to the regular floor? And then do we gravitate towards a particular manufacturer more or less? So the first part of the question, the volatility is not a setting at all. It's nothing that the casino can control. Volatility is just how the game is actually designed. So, again, just a board game, for example. The board game is laid out in a particular way. You could change rules about it and stuff, but the layout's not going to change. That's what the volatility is. I always give the example of this. Picture if a slot machine were a person, the volatility would be the DNA. The settings would just be like the clothes on the person. You can change the clothes, but you can't change the DNA. And that's another thing, kind of building on that a little bit more. One of the things that we always try to bust is, for some reason, slot players, and I know it feels like this sometimes, they think that the casino can control and manipulate anything they want to, and they can change anything about a game. And it's simply not true. There's the way the game is designed and built. When the casino orders it from the manufacturer, there's certain things that can't be changed, and volatility is one of them. So I hope that helps to answer the first part of the question. The second part of the question, do we personally gravitate towards one manufacturer over another? You know, there's pros and cons to every game maker. IGT has done a phenomenal job of keeping some of those classic titles alive. You know, it's a lot of times, you know, you see like, you know, for example, like Aristocrat, you know, they have all these variations of Buffalo, but they've kind of just let their original Buffalo, you know, go to the wayside. You know, now it's all about all these other crazy titles, but IGT's done a really good job about keeping like Double Diamond, Triple Stars, Top Dollar, Pinball, you know, all the same. Even though it's coming out in new cabinets and new designs, they've done a great job of retaining that same math and that same gameplay that people have been familiar with for the past 20 or so odd years. So in terms of lower volatile games, we'll usually gravitate towards a maker like IGT. We're also really partial to Ainsworth, which does a lot. Ainsworth is leading the way in must-hit by progressives. The must-hit by progressives are really, really fun. You know, we've popped a few several times. They're really, really fun to get. And they have great bonus rounds and great games. Light and Wonder, they do a good job with their game titles as well. You know, they have a lot of the fun games, you know, like the Wonkas and Monopolies and stuff like that, you know, fun titles. So really, it again, it depends on the situation and the bankroll. You know, if we come into the casino and we've got a really big bankroll and, you know, we're looking to play something more risky, we might gravitate towards, you know, something like the Huff and More Puff. But if we come into the casino and we're like, you know what, we're going to just try to build up our bankroll. We're just going to work with, you know, $100 and see how far we can go and stretch it. We might go to an IGT game. So I hope that makes sense. Mark, do you want to add to that?
No, that was good. That's perfect.
All right.
Hopefully it answered your question.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The high limit room, the volatility doesn't change in the high limit room. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
On the pinball machine?
Yeah.
Once you get the pinball, is it pretty much really, really hard to get it again?
No, you can get it back to
You
back.
can get it back to back. Now,
My
there's an
record's 5.
Yeah. The average is 1 in 64 spins on classic pinball, like the single line.
Yeah.
But before everybody goes, okay, I'm going to count to 64.
Yeah, no, it's an average. It's an average.
Over 10 million spins. Or, you know, that's why you get it back to back sometimes. That's not 1 in 64. That's 1 in 2. So that's just kind of the average on, you know, what, but you can get it. I mean, you can get it right away. So don't get it and then think, oh, you know, I better get out of here because I'm not going to get it again. So good question. Yes, sir.
Based on those bingo-based machines.
Yes.
The denomination, and like this is just based upon my bankroll. You know, I want to win back.
Yeah.
Percentage pretty much.
So the question is about Class 2 bingo style games. Have you guys ever, obviously you have, but anybody else ever played those before?
Mhm.
Okay. Us in Texas, they look like slot machines, but they're actually, you're playing bingo. You'll,
They have a little slot there. I've seen where people touch it every now and then.
oh yeah, they could do that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it depends on the game. Depends on the type of game. But anyway, the question is Class 2 gaming. Okay. When you play a bingo style machine, and this is really popular in Oklahoma, if you've ever been to Oklahoma, WinStar, the largest casino, they are filled with these type of games. And so, awesome. Thank you.
Oh.
Test. Hey. Oh, I think everybody can hear us in here. So,
Well, now
So-
we can hand the mic off to you.
yeah, there you go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, by the way.
Thank you. So the way Class 2 games work is that you are essentially playing the game of bingo with everybody else in the casino, but it looks like a slot machine, okay? So it's trying to give you a familiar look and feel whenever you're playing those games. And the way it works is you essentially do a spin and it generates a bingo card, and then there are numbers that can potentially match inside of that bingo card. And if those matches form some kind of pattern, whether it's a Four Corners or Volcano, it's kind of like you have these little cute names, hot dog, you know, stuff like that form inside of the bingo pattern, that equates to a certain credit win. And so after that is determined, and this is all happening very fast, of course, but after that is determined, you then see something visually on the slot machine, like 3 sevens or a cherry or a double or something like that. The question is, does it really matter, like, which one of those do you play? Like, it doesn't really matter. Does it come down to just your bankroll and your denomination? And the answer is that. You're playing bingo, the way it gets there in the end might be a little different. But if you are playing a bingo style game, just focus on your budget and the denomination that you're comfortable with playing. That's it. There's no volatility to look for or anything like that. So I hope that answers your question there.
Kind of the same with. So in some cases, yes, it really depends on the casino. So, you know, obviously WinStar, for example, is a very large facility. They've got thousands of slot machines. They could have multiple bingo games going on, you know, depending on, you know, it could be by denomination, by bank, by, you know, they have a lot going on. But a smaller Class 2 facility might just have one game going on. Yeah.
Don't.
There is a positive to playing.
Yeah, there is
bingo
a big
machines,
positive.
though. There is a
That was the
positive.
question I didn't answer was payback percentage.
Mhm.
So payback percentages on bingo style machines are all the same across the entire floor. So that's actually good in your favor. So you get a very consistent gameplay. I would not discount those games. I've been doing pretty well on them at WinStar. They play a lot like Double Diamond, especially if you find the 3-reel versions like Lucky Ducky, and you know, you've probably heard a lot about those.
Like Mr. Moneybags.
Mr.
stuff like
Moneybags,
that.
those play very similar to a Double Diamond machine. So I wouldn't give up on it just because it is that way. But it does limit the amount of cool games there are.
Mhm.
Like, you don't see the Buffalo, you don't see the pinball, you don't see all that kind of stuff in those facilities. And so if you're looking to have a little bit more fun and excitement in playing the game, you may not find that inside of a Class 2 facility. So yeah. Yeah.
Also, the other good thing about bingo machines, really quick, is you can actually win some pretty big prize amounts at a pretty low bet. So one thing is with bingo, again, you're playing against other players. It's not you versus the machine. You're playing against other players. In a big facility like WinStar, we've seen people on quarter machines win $250,000, which is just not possible on a regular Class 3 machine. So you can win larger amounts on bingo machines at a lower bet. Kind of the same with HHR, historic horse racing. If anybody is from a state with HHR, it's kind of working the same way. So yes.
I've seen these little bingo thing here. People do that. Is that good?
So changing the bingo card. It really, the thing is you don't know what poll it's going to pull from next. That's kind of one of those features that's put on a Class 2 machine to almost kind of give the player a little more like an illusion of choice, so to speak. You know, where it's like, oh, if I change the card, you know, this might be the lucky card, but you have no idea what it's going to pull. You know, it could have pulled the numbers from the previous card. You just never know. So if that helps, does it do any good? I mean, some people like to do it. It doesn't do anything really. So Washington State is a little bit different. So one big thing to note about classes of gaming is the class of gaming, which is defined by the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. It's a license that applies to a lot more than just slot machines. So for example, this casino right here, Seven Feathers. Seven Feathers, they have regular Class 3 slot machines. However, because of the way the law is written, they have to carry 2 licenses. They have to carry a Class 2 license and they have to carry a Class 3 license. Why do they have to have that Class 2 license if their machines are Class 3? Because they have a bingo hall. So the game of bingo is only Class 2. Washington State, a lot of casinos have a Class 3 license, but they don't have Class 3 machines. So why do they have that Class 3 license? Class 3 license also applies to table games. So if they have table games, they have to carry a Class 3 license. So their machines run on what's called a VLT system, a virtual lottery terminal. It's kind of the same as HHR, where it's, you know, the machines themselves, they're regulated more on the state level. And what you're doing is every time you push that spin button, the machine essentially downloads these giant packets of digital lottery tickets, for example. So it's downloading these giant packets of digital lottery tickets. Every time you push that spin button, it's basically the exact same as you walking into the gas station, buying a scratch-off ticket, scratching it off, and revealing a prize or not. The machine already knows what's coming next, and that's what makes it different from a slot machine. Because a slot machine doesn't know what's coming next. You know, slot machines, you know, they're random in the sense that they don't know what's coming next. It's constantly cycling. But a VLT machine knows exactly what's coming next because it's already in that downloaded packet. So that's how those work. So California really, I mean, there's not a lot different about California. They have class 3 machines. All of their casinos, they have Vegas style slot machines. I don't know, in California, I haven't seen any bingo terminals in there,
I'm not sure.
but
if
I'm
they
not
have-
sure.
I don't know.
The only casinos I've been to in California,
Most of the
just
Indian
regular
properties there are just
class
like
3.
this, you know. Florida, I don't know about Florida either. It's mostly, I mean, the bigger hotels there, like Hard Rock and all that, they're all class 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, a good way to tell is if you see Buffalo and, you know, all these types, your typical like Huff and Puff, and you see all these games out there, it's a class 3 because there's no class 2 variants of those types of games.
Yeah.
So that's one way to tell. Also, if you're at a casino, it's possible for them to have both. WinStar is a good example of this, where they have bingo style machines and they have regular class 3 machines. And the way you can tell is a couple of ways. So a class 2 is going to have a bingo card somewhere on the game itself, either on the top glass, you know, what you're looking at. Sometimes it's on the bet panel. You'll see a little bingo card. Sometimes you got to go into the game rules and it will show you bingo patterns and what they equate to as wins. That will tell you that you're playing bingo, essentially. It may look exactly like a slot machine, sound like it, play like it, but you're still playing bingo. But if you don't see that anywhere, then it is most definitely a class 3 machine.
Mm-hmm.
So they do have to disclose that it's a bingo machine somewhere in there.
All right. Yes, question.
No, you're good.
You good? So,
Sorry,
You're fine.
There's speed machines where I've seen them on YouTube, where people go up to a machine and they're playing it along, and then all of a sudden they lose. It's not free games. And then a timer goes on the machine, and then it speeds up, and it speeds the spins, but it's still taking money from them.
oh, I've seen those games.
Okay.
I'll try to again. I'll try to repeat the question for those of you watching online. So there are some slot machines out there. I've seen a couple of them before, where you get like it's like a bonus, but there's a timer, and you have to spin within the certain timer, but it's still taking your money, so it's not really free spins. I've seen those. I haven't played them yet. To me, I don't think I would play those. I really don't, because it's a bonus round, but you're paying for the bonus round,
Yeah.
you know, and basically what it's doing is it's trying to encourage you to hurry up and get as many spins in before that clock runs out. I think that's really poor.
If you go to any small casino or gas station casino in the state of Illinois, you're going to find this.
Yeah.
You're going to find
I
this
haven't
there.
seen very many of them. Have you seen them at all?
I think back here outside on the floor below is
Cashnado is like
Oh, yeah.
It's got the bonus feature where it'll do time. You can get the key feature at any point, but I think the key feature in the bonus is out differently because
Yeah.
of the variations that expire soon.
Yeah.
That one I know that's the.
How do you identify it?
Well, Cashnado actually does advertise it. It'll say at the top that, you know, this extra bonus round is going to start in 15 minutes or whatever. So you can actually do that. Whether it really gives you any kind of advantage play or not, it's kind of up in the air. But as for the Illinois ones, you can identify them because they will be called prime free spins. Yeah, prime free spins. And that basically means, let's say you get 3 bonus symbols and you go into the bonus. Well, you got 15, not free spins, prime spins. And that basically
Oh.
means instead of betting $5, you got to bet 50 cents for every spin inside of the free spins. So it's just, they're weird laws. You know this, you've seen this. I mean, Washington State, what we were just talking about, is one like that, where they, you know, instead of having random number generators, they want to use the lottery system to try to circumvent a lot of state laws and things like this. You know, that's just the way some of these are built, you know. And so if you do see that, like in a lot of the smaller facilities, you know, you might get excited that you got the free games, but you're going to have to pay for every single
you're
one of
having
those
to pay,
free games.
pay for those free games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the buy a bonus feature.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's a bad budget mistake on that.
Yeah.
All right. Do we have a question out there? Yes.
Okay, so hot topic, MGM.
Oh,
Kind of bring it up. What's the take on it right now?
Yeah.
You were there when it hit, before it became an issue. And then when we left, everything started going downhill. So
Yeah.
what should we be concerned about?
Mark?
Stop and MGM.
So
Yeah.
the question was about the MGM issue. So we've done a lot of updates on the channel about it, and like right now there's no more information. So I would just check those updates. We'll try to do as many updates as we can about it.
yeah, we're
but-
just there's so many rumors and crap flying around right now that
Mark just downloaded an update
yeah,
out here city.
Mhm.
yeah, I
Yeah.
did. There's if you look at our last like 4 videos on the channel, you'll see them. There's like
Yeah.
3 updates. We didn't want to get too far into it, in this seminar, but go check it out. It's something to be aware of.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you guys actually follow or watch certain YouTubers that are doing their gambling to kind of learn what they're doing or anything of that nature?
So
I know
good
that
question.
There's a couple of people that follow you guys.
Oh, sure.
I watch you guys quite a bit. Some of the terminology that you use, here in background, and I know you guys met up with people like they did.
Yeah.
But is there anyone that you guys really follow and kind of, because they are consistent or, I guess, not breaking just the bonuses?
Yeah.
Real
Yeah.
spending versus, magic and math or whatever.
Yeah. So the question for those watching online is, do we follow or watch any YouTube channels as well? And we do. Obviously, Stacy's High Limit Slots. I always have to mention Stacy's High Limit Slots. Cowboy Slots would not be here if it was not for Stacy's High Limit Slots.
That's true.
She was the first channel that I really started watching. I always have to give a big shout out to Vegas Matt. Vegas Matt is a relatively new channel. However, the thing that's nice about Vegas Matt, which is a refreshing thing to see, is he shows everything and he makes it very fun and entertaining along the way. So I got to always give props and shout outs to Vegas Matt. Mark, what about you?
Definitely Stacy's High Limit Slots. I've got a big list of people that I
We have a long list.
Yeah, we
there's
do.
there's a lot. If there's other channels out there watching the live, sorry if we missed you, but yes, there is.
Yeah,
there
we
is
have a
lot.
long list. Generally, the ones that I like to watch are the ones that play the games that I enjoy playing. I mean, obviously, if I see a bunch of Dragon Link and Lightning Link and all that, I'm not going to watch them. I just don't play those games. They don't excite me. Plus, they're just not good games to play in general. They're high in volatility and that kind of stuff. But also the people that show the real deal when it comes to gambling. Anybody that tries to paint a picture that it's really easy to win or just shows the bonus rounds on Huff and Puff without showing the 2,000 spins that they did before that.
And that's
You know,
really
that's-
the
that's-
danger. That's the danger behind it too.
That's what I personally try to avoid, those channels that just show the wins only. Like I want to see the full story so that I can educate myself too about how that game plays out. I typically do not play a game until I've watched somebody else play it first, whether in person or online or something, before I decide if I'm going to commit my money to that game or not. So that's a large part of what I decide to watch.
But always be careful too. Watching YouTube. I mean, Mark and I both love watching, the big hits and people playing high limits, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. You want to see the bonuses and those big hits that we don't get normally. It's fun to go on YouTube and watch those. But always do keep in mind that that's not typical. Always keep that in mind. That's the biggest thing. Yes.
So I don't want to try to back you guys into it.
No, you're fine.
In watching all this stuff on YouTube, you also see that there's these people with all these different methods.
Mhm.
And some of them are fun. I mean, there's $20 Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And only hit these corner slot machines and that kind of. What do you think of stuff like that?
So the question is about different methods that are out there on YouTube. So a lot of them, like, kind of the 2 examples that you just gave about, like $20 Tuesday and stuff like that. A lot of that is just, for fun. the machines aren't different on Tuesday. You know, putting a $20 bill isn't different on Tuesday. Playing the machines on the, you know, walking in and saying, we're only going to play the machines on the corners. You know, the corner machines aren't any different. So most of those videos are just, you know, for fun. The biggest things to always stay away from is anytime, if you're watching out there and somebody's like, I have a secret to win at slots, and for just $5.99 you can learn too. That's when you want to start avoiding it. You know, and always keep something in mind, and this is something that Mark has always mentioned. There is nothing about a slot machine that a player can manipulate at all. There is nothing that you as a player can do to manipulate a slot machine, whether that's coming in on morning after a busy holiday, or, you know, fast stopping the reels, or, you know, putting, you know, I got to put $2,000 in at a time. There's nothing that a player can do to manipulate a slot machine.
Well, if you fast stop it all the time, doesn't that change what comes out?
So yeah, so the question was, if you fast stop the reels all the time, does that change what comes out? So so right. So here's the thing about fast stopping. So as soon as you push the spin button the first time, the outcome is predetermined. Now, a lot of people say, you know, well, changing up your timing by speeding up. The microprocessor inside of a slot machine can, I mean, it's making millions of calculations per second. There's no human that can ever beat that. You know, you can't even move your hand that fast to beat that. Does it change? I mean, does it change up the timing? Yes, it does. But what also changes up your timing is slowing down. Yeah. So we always recommend to do the opposite.
Well,
you know,
this one friend I have, she doesn't just hit the spin button and let it do its thing. She stops it on every spin.
Yeah, which is probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah. Does it change anything?
No. So
they would never, ever introduce the element of skill into a slot machine.
They can't.
Legally they can't.
Yeah, legally they can't.
Whether she stops it or lets it go, the
exact same thing's going to happen.
It's already decided. Yeah.
And it's funny because we get a lot of comments from people that say, well, I fast stop all the time and I always get the bonus. Well, you don't know what the other result is going to be because you didn't let you can't see both results at the same time. So if you're always fast stopping it, you never know what the result's going to be if you let it play out normally. But it actually will say in the game rules, and you know, you can go out and look at the game that you can quick stop it. It'll say, you know, quick stop behavior, and it'll say on there, the quick stopping the reels does not affect the outcome of the next spin. It says that on the game rules. You know, it's an entertainment feature that's built in there, you know, as a means to, you know, give the players a little more sense of control. But a lot of people also don't understand that, again, slot machines are very legally regulated in how they're built. And when they're built at the manufacturer, they have to be verified by by a third party company and all of that. This all takes place before the machine even gets to the casino. There cannot be a skill aspect involved. If there's a skill aspect involved, it loses its legal definition as a slot machine. So they can put features in there to make it seem like that, but it doesn't help. You know, and a lot of people do say, you know, like speeding up is going to change the timing. You know, we'll do some, you know, do the rapid fires to try to change up the timing. Could it change the timing of the next the next spins? I mean, I guess it could if you're really wanting to
not predictable,
not predictable like what Mark's saying.
Yeah,
but
not predictable.
The other thing too is, like, if you really feel like your timing's, bad or whatever, just pause and take a break. You know, let the random number generator keep on going a little bit longer before you hit the spin button. You know, yeah,
right.
Just focus on your bankroll. The problem that I have with fast stopping is the fact that you're burning your bankroll so quick. You're just getting there. You're not enjoying the game, and you're just, burning it way too fast.
Video poker, you guys don't like it, but it takes some skill.
Yes, video poker does have a skill aspect to it. So it's not that we don't like video poker. It's the thing about video poker, and this is the reason we've done a couple videos on the channel, but we've always brought in video poker experts that specialize in it. We've both worked on video poker machines before, but as for playing the game itself, there is a very big skill aspect to video poker. You have to know proper poker strategy in order to really excel and succeed at video poker. And that's just not something that we specialize in. So that's why we don't normally play it on the channel. But we do like it. We do enjoy it.
Yep.
Just not something we normally play.
The 9.6 is, I'm sorry,
Oh, go ahead.
the 9.6 is used to be the good 9.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
shares, and now you can't find them.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
have to go, especially on the strip. You're not going to find that in Vegas. But if you go to some of the smaller casinos, you might still find those.
Do you guys
But-
play video poker?
I've played it a couple
We'll,
times.
we'll go
played
to the
video
bar and
poker,
play it
yeah.
a little while, you know, that kind of thing, like the bar tops. But yeah, we're just not.
It's just not our
I'm
specialty.
going to be honest. For me, it's just too boring.
Yeah.
I mean, you can win good
it's
money.
a great game.
I mean,
though.
it's a great game. You can really last, especially if you play proper strategy, you can last a very long time. Because a lot of the video poker, especially if you find a 9.6, it is pushing 99 to 100, even over 100% return to the player. If you play proper, accurate strategy every single hand, it's possible. But it's just, I lose excitement from it, I guess. It just goes too slow, I guess. I don't know. It's just not my thing. Not my thing.
All right, let's do this. Ask us about a rumor that you guys have heard in the casino, or something like that you guys have heard, like, you know, time of day or anything like that, or any changes. Yes, sir. You raised your hand first.
Are you going to be getting a machine? I heard a rumor you might be getting hooked it up before you out, but
Are we going to be getting a slot machine? So, you know, that's something obviously that, you know, for us to be able to get a game title of our own, it would take a very long time to do. I mean, we're talking, you know, it would take a long time for something like that to develop. Right now, no, we don't have anything in development. But if we did, it would be a while out before that.
And
Yes,
it
sir.
would be low in volatility.
And it would be low in volatility. We might even, you know, if we ever came out with a machine, we might even put the volatility
Yeah.
index in the game
Yeah, the
rules.
most you can win is $100, but you have like a 1 in 50 chance of hitting it.
Right.
Something like that.
All right. I'll let you take the next one, Mark.
Okay.
So, I have an old friend who said that, and I don't have any, but they said that a magnet, a real powerful magnet, can cause issues with the chip.
No.
So the question or the myth is that if you had a powerful magnet, you could cause some problems with the machine. Now, I will say in the old times, you know, talking about early 90s, the coin machines, there was ways to do things like that, where you could trick the credit meter into giving you credits and things like that. But I can guarantee you everything that you will find on a casino floor right now, you cannot manipulate with a magnet or anything.
They
like
go
that.
through some pretty extreme testing.
Yeah, it's crazy
When we
nowadays.
got a chance to take a tour of IGT's manufacturing facility. Yeah, we got a chance to. Yeah, so no, we didn't film the actual tour, you know, because we got to go in a lot of areas, you know, that we were not allowed to film. But they do a lot of strenuous testing on those machines to make sure that can't be outside influence that comes into them. Yes.
I've seen people put their hand on it. It seems like it puts, you know.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people have, you know, their lucky quirks and stuff like that. You know, some people like to rub the screen. You know, some people like to put their hand over the last reel.
Some people like to manhandle machines and start shaking them like
you
this.
know, I think it's all fun and good. I mean, whatever, you know, gambling is primarily entertainment. You know, you want to be able to be entertained and you want to be able to have fun. You know, if somebody has fun, you know, rubbing the screen or anything like that, as long as they're not damaging the machine or doing anything like smacking it or, you know, hitting the screen too hard, you know, I think it's fine. Does it do anything for the machine? No, but it makes them feel good. So, you know, right. Yes.
So one of my strategies going into a casino that I've never been in, more so walking the casino now that I've seen the videos. In the past, I would go to a high traffic area
Mhm.
and I would find a machine that I thought was gonna draw attention to it.
Okay.
And I would play that machine and I've been successful at that, but is that just dumb?
So machines in high traffic areas for those watching online. So the casino does not program machines any different just because of where they're located out on the floor. Mostly where the machine location on the floor itself has a lot to do with, contract stipulations from the manufacturers and so on and so forth, and what's popular at the time. So like, for example, if when Dragon Link first came out, Dragon Link was really hot, really popular. When Dragon Link first came out, they put all the Dragon Links at the front of the casinos and on the main aisles and stuff, so people could see it as a marketing thing of, hey, we have this machine. Doesn't mean the machine's any better or anything like that. You can win or lose on any slot machine. Any slot machine you can win or lose on. So, it's, if you happen to play one at the end of the aisle and you do good on it, it's purely just a luck thing. Is it programmed any different, or is it set any different? No, it's not.
And also just something to keep in mind, not only just the contracts, but what casinos want is people playing the games, okay? So if they deploy a game somewhere on the casino floor and it's not getting a lot of play, they will attempt to move it around so that it gets people more interested, that they actually see it. Because the worst thing for a casino to do is to put a slot on the floor that underperforms, meaning people are just not playing it. Because it's wasted space. They could be putting something in there that could, be getting a lot more traffic. And so they typically do put the real flashy, popular new titles in those high traffic areas because they want to get eyeballs to say, hey, we've got something new here. But they don't change the odds or anything because, hey, we want people to be able to see them and say, oh, wow, those are winning machines, so we should play those. That's not what's going on. So,
all right. Yes.
Familiar with the smoke-free room here? Do they have any of the machines that you two always recommend?
Okay, so the smoke-free slots area here at Seven Feathers.
Mustang
Fury is one of them. They do have some Thunder Caches and stuff over there. There's a lot of really nice games over in the smoke-free area. I do like they have the Ainsworth selections there. What was that quick hit game you were playing yesterday?
Quick Hit Super Wheel.
Quick Hit Super Wheel.
That one's a penny game, but I think I put $100 in and played for almost 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And ended up cashing out $6 up, but hey, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was 25 minutes of play at $2 a spin. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, that's in there.
So can we follow your method, with playing $100?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Smoke-free room.
Sure.
Yes.
They have a machine.
You could listen. Like we try to get people to stay away from penny machines because all things considered, they have the lowest payback percentage settings in the casinos. Okay, it's just the way they set them up. But the other side of it that's nice about penny machines is that they don't potentially cost a lot to play either.
Mm-hmm.
The max spin on that was $2, 200 credits, and I was very comfortable with that. The key to really using the build-up method more than anything is just watching your bankroll and setting your stop limits on either side. So, if you're starting with $100, the goal is to get to 200 or maybe to 150. It's really up to you to decide. But the most important thing is to stop, either because you're losing. Let's say you get it down to $50 and you're just not feeling it. Cash out, take a break, come back later, or try another game. But if you get up to that 150 or the 200, do the same thing. Cash out, take a break, and go play something else a little later. I think the real dangerous thing that people just don't realize is that they actually win quite often on slot machines, but they just put it all back in.
Have you ever?
I think we're all guilty of that.
Has anybody looked at their win-loss statement from the year and we're like, wow, I can't believe, like you look at it and you're like, how did I put $100,000 into a slot machine? You actually did.
You just don't remember.
You just didn't come home with it.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. That's the thing is, people do win more at slots than they think they realize, or than they think they do. And that's why we talk about, if you're having a good day, if you build up, cash out, go home or take a break. That's the biggest thing. Is anybody in here own a small business, or has owned a small business? Yes. What do you do, sir? What was your business? Trucking company. Okay. So you owned a trucking company. Let me ask you this. Would you rather take all of your customers' money and you don't care about your service, you can be as late as you want to, you can have high accident records, all of that, or would you rather make sure that you're safe, have a great reputation, make sure people have a good time, and keep those people coming back? Would you rather have a return customer or just a one-time, customer comes in and they buy your service and then they're like, oh, this was crummy, I'm never coming back? The return customer, any business owner would tell you that. Return customer. This is what a lot of people don't understand about the casino industry. The casino, a lot of people think that the casino's out to steal all your money and they don't care about you. They want your money, come in, empty your pockets and leave. But the thing is they are a business and they want you to have a good time and they want you to have an enjoyable time. They would much rather have you come in and win money and leave happy than to come in and drop all your life savings and never come back again.
Right.
Because they know that if you come in and you have an enjoyable time, the casino wants you to take breaks. They want people to win. I don't know, of all the casinos I've worked at, never once have I heard a manager or supervisor or anybody else say, we don't want them to win or anything like that. No, the casino wants you to win because they also know that psychologically you're going to come back and put it back in the machine anyway.
Exactly.
So, they want you to have a good time. And that's really what's important too, is, make some money, have a good time, enjoy your visit at the casino, and take breaks, take opportunities, go out, go to a restaurant, go to the rodeo. The rodeo's here in town. Do that and have an enjoyable time, because if you come and you have an enjoyable time, you're going to come back because you're going to have positive memories of that visit.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
That's something I want to say is there's always a few places that I go to, and Seven Feathers does seem to take care of their people and the comms and the issues. You just approach them and they correct it. They try really hard to fix any problem you might have.
Good. Great to hear about Seven Feathers. All right. Is there any more questions or any topics anybody wants to cover? Yes. I haven't heard from you yet.
This is a rumor.
Okay, rumor.
I heard that they were going to start putting credit card payments on slot machines.
So the rumor is credit cards on slot machines. I don't think the physical card on the slot machine is going to happen because that's a huge security thing. If your credit card gets stolen, so on and so forth. Now they are working on cashless slots. We've done a special on this. And a lot of people got heated on it and they were like, oh no, here we go, going cashless. But all it is, if any of you use like Apple Pay or Google Pay or Android Pay, where, your card is on your phone and you just, you can tap and beep, or even like your physical debit card, a lot of debit cards now just have the tap to pay feature. That's essentially what the feature is that they're working on for slots. So, you would say on your phone, you want to put $500 in the machine, you would tap your phone to the machine, it would load the credits onto the machine. There's no constant connection or flow or anything like that. The casino doesn't have your bank account information or anything like that. That is a technology that they are working on. It is in place at a couple of different casinos right now, but it will probably become more of a mainstream thing. It's not going to replace cash or anything like that. It's not going to replace tickets. It's just going to be an added option. And that is a technology that they are working on.
So if I put $500 into the machine through my Apple phone
Mhm.
and I cash out, it gives me a voucher or it puts it back?
It will. So if you cash out using the cashless, it will put it back on your phone. And the cool thing is, because we actually got to preview this technology, and it actually works pretty cool. So you can cash out, and you can transfer money directly to your bank once it's on your phone. And again, there's not a connection between the machine and your bank account or the casino and your bank account. What it is it's a temporary transfer from the machine to your phone, and then that's walled off, and then from your phone it can securely go to your bank account. It's a really, really cool system. We feel like it's going to be good for bankroll management. But it'll probably be slow to roll out as time goes on. But yeah.
Seems that it just makes it easier for you to spend money.
You would think, but actually,
there's actually, the first question I asked these people when they were showing off this technology, I'm like, this is really dangerous.
Yeah.
Like a debit card right on the machine. Like, I like knowing that I have daily limits and that I have to go to the ATM, and I like that. But there is a cool benefit to this, and that is you can force the app or the casino to put limits to say, only allow me to draw $300 a day or only allow me to draw $100 an hour or whatever. You can actually set up these controls, and they're not changeable within 72 hours. So you set it, and then you're not able to touch those limits that you put in place for that amount of time. That's something that you cannot even do with cash right now, because you can always try to find ways to get cash. But if you were able to do this and stay committed to it, it could be beneficial for some people to be able to put those, protections in place. Yes, sir. Yeah.
When you saw the technology, do you know the answer as to whether, is it just for like a bank account, like a debit sort of transaction, or is it actual like a credit card?
Okay. Yeah, they're talking about, okay, so the question is about cashless. Does that mean credit card payments? I'm pretty sure it was all debit. It wasn't like cash advances and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they would put that inside.
And the technology will change over time too.
Yeah.
It's not, it's really in its infancy right now. So it's just kind of something we're going to have to wait and see how it takes off and how it goes. But I think we'll take a couple more questions, then we'll let you guys get out of here and go play some slots. Yes.
Bradley, so, I have a three-part question.
Three-part question.
Let's say you take $2,000 to the Shoshone Rose.
Okay.
What would be the first, give me 3 slot machines where you start your day? What would be your bet amount? And then, let's say you're doing good, gradually getting wins. Where then would you maybe increase your bet and go higher? And let's say you're losing and have a bad day. Where would you maybe take a break or decrease your bet?
All right. So that's a pretty loaded question. So question is, if I had $2,000 to take to the Shoshone Rose, what are 3 machines I would play? And then if I was doing good, what would I do? If I was doing bad, what would I do, kind of thing. So $2,000 is a pretty big budget. I probably start with something that I'm familiar with. I might go a little bit more risky and a little bit higher bet, just because $2,000 is a lot to work with. So I would probably do some $10 denomination pinball, 3 credits to spin, $30 to spin. That's a little more than the 1% rule, but again, 2,000 is a pretty big budget to work with. I wouldn't go too crazy. I wouldn't devote all 2,000 to it. Maybe just a couple hundred. I would also probably do Thunder Cash. That would be my second one. And then my third one, probably, let's see. I'm trying to think of what my third one would be. It would probably be another Ainsworth game, probably a must hit buy. And I would look and I would evaluate to see what the highest must hit buy was. Again, not devoting all 2,000 to it, but just kind of playing it out and seeing how it goes. If I was winning and doing good, I do carry my lockbox with me, which we highly recommend everybody carry a lockbox. If you hit a jackpot, probably at least put half of it, the whole amount into the box as you go along. And then if I started to do, bad, I would probably do something. I would probably go to a lower denomination game, something like Scarab. That's what I would do. I hope I got everything in the question. that was a very loaded question. All right. Yes.
First of all, I got mine.
Oh,
Awesome.
perfect.
Awesome.
All right. Good.
I'm a new member. I signed up with you guys. I've been binge watching all your videos for the last week or so.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you.
So anyway, I've learned a lot. Question that I put on the site, and I just haven't gotten a reply, is if I have a single line, let's say I have $100 and I'm gonna do a single line for a dollar machine, low volatility, or go to a low volatility 5 line and a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
What is my better? Am I better doing the 1 line dollar machine?
So
the question was a single line dollar machine or a 5 line quarter game. I would say the 5 line quarter game.
yeah, that's what I would.
Yeah,
do too.
I would say the 5 line quarter game.
And here's the reason. You're going to see more action, not necessarily overall wins, but you're going to see more action on the 5 line because you have more coverage going on. So fairly often on a 5 line game, you're going to at least get your bet back because there's 5 potential chances of you to get mixed bars or mixed sevens or something like that. Whereas with a single line, you're really limiting yourself to making sure 3 things end up on that single pay line. And so in the end, it's probably going to equate to the same, like win-wise, but I think you're going to enjoy it more and you're going to feel like you're getting more bang for your buck if you play the 5 line. I hope that makes sense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing these quarter machines out here in front of the
Yeah.
or, you know, it's 10 credits, you know.
Yeah.
You're saying it's 250, so you're putting $100 in there and, you know,
Yeah.
250. I hate to, you know, you just have a lot of dogs here and they don't, and I hate,
Yeah.
you know.
I hear you.
with the pennies,
Yeah.
Kind of teetering on that, you know, 250 and just keep them at your
Yeah,
scratch.
no, yeah, don't go too far past that if you're not comfortable with it, for sure.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to go ahead. We'll round out the seminar here. If anybody wants to, you know, talk to us privately or anything like that, we'll be up here for a little bit. But go out, have fun, watch your budget. Good for
Please.
carrying the lockbox. I'm
Yeah,
so
that's-
happy every time I see the lockboxes. How's the lockbox been working for you? Have you been?
It's been great.
Good.
You get a, you know, large ticket, put it aside, look for everything else, pull the ticket out, not go, you know.
Yep.
Right.
You know, you make so much.
I'm gonna get stopped at a certain level.
Yeah, you know, you make so much more money with the lockbox.
Yeah.
I wish casinos would sell those.
No, they
I wish
should.
casinos would actually sell the lockboxes
It's a
because
good way for you to get out the door with your cash.
So it's a little box. It's a lockbox,
You
and
wanna
they
hold
come in
yours up
all
again?
different sizes.
Oh,
Oh,
she's
we
got
got
one
two in
too.
the audience. Okay.
We got two.
So what it is you lock the box and you leave your key at home, and it has a slot. And if you win money or double your money, you fold up your cash and you put it in the box. Then you can't access it until you get home. And yeah, it removes the temptation altogether. Now, yep.
Oh, I'm sure that people have gone to
I'm
crazy.
sure, yeah. But I'll tell you, you know, there have been times, you know, I have a video of this where I went to the Shoshone Rose and I had my lockbox with me and I started with $500 and I got home and there was like over $2,500 in the box just
Yeah.
from like putting little bits in at a time and little bits in at a time. And it's like, I lose track of it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize. I got home. I'm like, oh, wow, that's a lot of money. So I love seeing the lock boxes. I really wish casinos would sell them. But anyway, guys, thank you all so much for being here today at Seven Feathers Casino. We really appreciate each and every one of you. Please do, if you're not yet following us, make sure to follow us on YouTube and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook. We're on Facebook too. And we wish you guys all the best of luck. So thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, it's good to meet you.